work on Shabbos. And then there's those that they go to work on Shabbos, but when they come home, they don't do any malachas. They just do the work. And then he says there's those that go to work and then they do malachas also. So all these different categories. It's not all one.
It was very, very common in America.
Right. It's like such a historical little piece of it. Okay, we did our fourth interpretation. Ravina Amar. Fifth. Ravina says Hachik Tani. Here's a new pshat in the Mishnah. Hakol sheichten. Everyone is allowed to shecht. What does it mean? Hakol mumchen sheichten. Anyone that's an expert. Now, expert doesn't mean expert in moving the hand and that. What does it mean? Mumchen means that he knows the halachas. Today it would be there's this book that the sheikh can use, Simla Chadasha. He knows the Simla Chadasha, can recite it. Mumchen, he's a mumcha, he's an expert in the laws. Af pishay muchzakin, even though we don't know that he knows actually the skill to shecht. Bamedvar mamor, when do we say this? That we actually verified that he knows the laws. He can recite the laws of Shechita. But if we don't know that he can recite the laws, so lo yeshchak, he shouldn't shecht. So l'chatchila, we have someone that knows the laws, he's allowed to shecht. But let's say he shechted and we don't know if he knows the laws. Now we have to check him. Then you check him afterwards. So we have a lechatchila here. The hakol, even though we don't know that he knows the skill, but he is allowed to shech. But the Eved, if we don't know that he knows the laws, then you
it's
check
all about
him.
Leimar? Is it all the word is Leimar, right?
I don't know what to emphasize here, but he's got to know. There is an extra word. It could have said sheyadeya hilcha shchita, but it says sheyadeya leimar hilcha shchita. It means that they must be very fluent in it. So then we check him. V'im lav, if he doesn't know it, then asalechel mishchitasi, you're not allowed to eat from mishchita. Chutz mecher sheita v'katan, except for a cher sheita v'katan, they're not allowed to shecht. I feel the Eved nami loy, that even if they shecht, it's no good. Shema yishu, maybe he'll pause. Shema yidusu, maybe he'll do a chopping motion. Shema yachlidu, maybe he'll insert the knife in the wrong manner. The kulan sheshachtu, it's the last case of the Mishnah. If any of these shecht, if someone was watching them, then it's valid. Ahei, which case are we referring to? Eily ma'cher sheita v'katan, if we're referring to the cher sheita v'katan, alakoi, that's who we were talking about. The language is incorrect. It should say, if they shechted, not if anyone shecht. Ella she'ein mumchen. We must be talking about, going back on the first case, people that are not experts in the laws. So we said, b'bayt can I say sagi? We don't have to stand there, we just have to ask him questions. So we say, the lesser command lived, okay? He's not here. If he's not here, then if someone was watching him shech, that's good enough.
How do they know if the knife wasn't good? Same question as a moment.
Someone who's watching is doing that check.
No, the person that's watching, no, because he's a from person. He's not a mumar, he's a from person. And he shechted. So we have, we're going to see later, we're going to see that Rav Mitzuya Neitzel Shchita, Mumchen, that there's a Rav that we can rely on, and that's good. Ikad Amri, some say slightly different, similar but different. Ravina says Hakol Hachiktani. This is what it means. Hakol Sheichten, everyone can shecht. Hakol Mechzakin Sheichten. Anyone that's a Mechzak, that means anyone that we know that can shecht. Mechzakin af b'shein mumchen. We know that he can shecht because we see that he shechts and he doesn't faint, or he doesn't get weaker. There's a concern if someone doesn't have the skill that maybe he'll hesitate in middle of the shechita because he'll get shocked by the blood that's coming out. You don't want that because he'll pause. You don't want it if he's a surgeon, but you don't want it for cautious reasons if he's a sheikhet because he'll pause in the middle of the shechita. So, Bamed Dvarim Amurim, when do we say that if he's a muchzik he can shecht even though he doesn't know the laws or we don't know if he knows the laws? If he shechted in front of us 2 or 3 times and we see that he can do it. And he didn't get faint of heart. Now, the 2 or 3 times the Rishonim explain because there's a machlekes Rabbi and his father, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, if a chazaka is 2 times or a chazaka is 3 times.
Oh.
We usually say a chazaka is 3 times, but here it says Bais v'gimel pamim, because Rebbe's opinion is that chazaka is 2 times. We accept Rebbe's opinion by a woman whose 2 husbands pass away, if she has 2 husbands. So we say that she's considered a katlanis, that that she shouldn't get married. She shouldn't get married a 3rd time.
Widow.
After 2.
That's
What
what
is it?
happened
The
by
Black
Yehuda.
Widow, right.
That's what happened by Yehuda. He didn't want to give her to Tamar because
Right.
2 of them went.
Right, so that we accept Rebbe's opinion by that.
Look where it got
Same
him.
with the breast, right?
What?
Look where
The
it
2
got
brothers, exactly. Same thing with the 2 brothers by the hemophilia. But if he didn't shecht in front of us 2 or 3 times, lo yishchait, shouldn't shecht, shema yisalaf, maybe he'll become faint of heart. Vim shachat, but if he does shecht, va'amar bari li shleinas alafti, and he says, I'm certain that I didn't pause, I wasn't faint of heart. So shchitasik sheira, it's good. He's a frum Jew, we can trust him. Chutz mecher sheit v'katan, we're continuing in the Mishnah, but not a cher sheit v'katan. Dafilu di'eved nami loy. Even b'di'eved you can't eat it. Shema yishu, shema yidjusu, shema yachlidu. Excuse me. Maybe he did one of those 3 things that we're not able to tell from the from looking at the animal. That maybe he made those mistakes. V'kulan sheshachtu ahei. The end of the Mishnah. If any of these people shechted, what's it referring to? Who are all of these people? Eily macher sheit v'katan. If we say it's talking about the case that we just mentioned, the cher sheit v'katan, alakoi, you were just talking about them. The language is not correct. V'im shachtami ba'ilei. It should have said, if they shechted, then it's valid if someone was there. Doesn't have to go and repeat the whole thing. Ella, it must be ashein mechsakin. It's talking about those people that are not experts in the laws, and not in the laws, experts in we haven't established that they can shecht without becoming faint. You don't need to stand there. We said as long as the person says that I'm sure I wasn't faint, so then that's fine. We say the lesser command l'shalom. He's not here to ask him. But if someone else was there watching, so that's fine.
Also, we're talking about someone that's not mulzakin.
Right. We haven't seen him shech, but we know that.
Saying when somebody says barili is only when we know he's a mulzakin. We're not even talking about
No,
mulzakin.
barili is not machzakim. If the im shachat, if he shechted, and we never saw him shech 2 or 3 times, so then va'amar barili shleinas alafti shchitasik shir. That's the b'di'evid case of the Mishnah. That yes, the shchita is valid, as long as he says with surety that I wasn't faint. Now we're going to go through the different opinions, why each one didn't say like the other one. It's very important that we do this today, even though we're rushed. Give me another 5 minutes, because or else we'll have to go through the whole thing again. Remember, Ravina says that we're talking about someone that's either an expert in the laws or Rabbi Bar Ula said that the first opinion was that we're talking about someone that's tamei. So Ravina v'Rabba Bar Ula, these 2 opinions, the last opinion that we just said with an expert and someone that's tamei, ka'abaya v'Rava v'Ravashi layamri. They didn't say like Abaya, Rav, and Ravashi. Why? Mishum dekashalu v'chulan. Because Abaya and Rava said we're talking about a kuti. Ravashi said we're talking about Yisrael Mumar. We ended up leaving off with a question: what is the v'chulan referring to? Because we had a bigger heter than standing there. Kulu kirabba barula layamri. Everyone doesn't say like Rabba barula. Lahach lishon damrit hacha ikar. Adarabba hasamikar the bekachim koi. At the end of yesterday's Gemara, we said, why do you have to say that someone that's tamei is allowed to shecht? We have a Mishnah in Kachim over there that says that as long as he doesn't touch it, he shechts, it's fine. So we said that here's the main place, and over there it just mentions it amongst other things that are permissible to. So according to that version, why don't they say like Rabba Bar Ula? Because they say Adarabba, Hasamikar. Over there it's the main thing. The Bekachim Kai, because over there it's talking about Kachim, over there it says the laws. So why does it have to say it here? Lahach lishna da'amrit hasamikar, according to the other version that says, no, over there was the main place. So Vahacha, I did the Tana Tami Bechul and Tana Nami Tami B'Makdashin. We mentioned it here. Why? Because over here we were talking about an interesting case that we didn't say there. Someone that's tummy that wants to shecht chulin, he's allowed to. We also mentioned someone that's tummy is allowed to shecht kachim. Tummy b'chulin gufela yitzrichlei. Why doesn't everyone else except Rabbi Barula? Because they hold that there is no such law of tummy by chulin. Why? Someone that's tummy chulin shenasu al taras hakodesh lavka kodesh tummy. There is no, you don't need any laws. It's just your own thing. Say, if I accept on myself that I'm not going to eat something, I don't know, peanuts or something, can I eat shells? That's your whatever business you have. There's no laws about that.
Between a chaver and a amar.
Yeah. But we're saying, are you allowed to shecht if you're tamei chulin? What is the status of that? You're allowed to do it. There's no problem, right? But according to the other opinion, according to the Rabbi Barula, saying no. If you're a chaver chulin shenas al taras, you have to keep it al taras hakodesh. It gets like a status. All the laws apply to it. So why don't they hold like Rabbi Barula? Because they don't hold of that assumption. The whole assumption is the whole basis is not there. Kuluk Ravina layamri. They don't accept Ravina. Why? According to the version that says that you need to be an expert in the laws. If you're not an expert in the laws, then you shouldn't shecht. We say they hold, everyone else holds, that everyone that shechts is fine. You don't need to go through and ask them to make sure that they can recite the laws. If they're ready to go and shecht, we assume that they know the laws. According to the opinion that says that you need to be capable, otherwise we're afraid that you're going to faint. They say that that's not an issue because we're not concerned that people are going to faint. So that's why they didn't use that teretz. Rava layamar ka'abaya. Why didn't Rava say like Abaya? Abaya said that a kuti, you have to stand there. Rava says you only have to walk in and out. Kikushya. That we know because Rava had a question on him. He says you only have to walk in and out. Abaya layamar karava. Abaya doesn't say like Rava. Very interesting. Hasam laynaga. You see, Abaya says that if someone's doing shchita, a kuti is doing shchita, you have to stand there and watch him the whole time. Rava says you only have to walk in and out, and he brings a proof from wine. Abaya says the wine is not a proof. The wine, he's not supposed to be touching the wine. Over here, hacha naga. Over here, he's actually doing the shchita.
Wine
so,
is not also by.
No, that's only a chumrah of the shla. That's not a halachic. So by the wine, he doesn't have his hands on it, so he's going to stay away because he's afraid you're going to be walking in and out. He's going to jump back when you walk in. You're going to say, "What did you just do?" Right? So he's going to stay away from it. Over here, he's doing a shchita. You have to stand there the whole. He has his hands on it the whole time. You can't take your hands off. You have to watch him. That's Rabbi's. Ravashi layamar kitavaya. Rashi doesn't say like any of them. Why? Because some kutigera rice, and he says the kutam aren't Jewish anyway. That was an easy one. Abaya layamar karavashi. Abaya doesn't say like Ravashi, who says the Yisrael mumar. We're talking about a Jew that transgresses. Leisvir lehad Rava. He doesn't hold of Rava. Rava says that a Jew that transgresses, you're allowed to check a knife and let him shech. But he doesn't hold of that. That was Rava's opinion. Abaya doesn't hold of that. That's why he doesn't accept Ravashi. Rava, my time alayamar kishmaite. Why doesn't Rava say like Ravashi that say that it's Yisrael mumar, and Ravashi was basing himself on Rava? Why does Rava say it's talking about a kuti? So the Gemara says, L'dvarav da Abaya kamar v'leilei svirlei. Rava actually never meant to say that it's talking about a kuti, and we're talking about that he goes in and out. That was only what he said to question Abaya's answer. Abaya said it's talking about a kuti. Rava says, if it's a kuti, you don't need to have your answer. Really, Rava holds that it's talking about a Yisrael mumar. And Yisrael mumar, you can give him a knife and he can shech. And that would be a good answer. Because according to Abaya, you're left off with a question. According to Ravashi, there's also a question. So, but nevertheless, Rava could go still according to his opinion. If you want to do there's one Makam Ian here, very interesting. The Magen Avram in Hilchas Tzitzis discusses this Gemara. He says that if there's a chazaka that you don't need to check, you don't need to check your tzitzis every day because you assume that they're kosher, but nevertheless, if you're able to check, you're obligated to check. And he bases it on this Gemara, that you have to see that he can, even though we have a roiv, the roiv mitzvah and etzel shchita are mumchen hein, but nevertheless we're supposed to check to make sure. That means that if you're able to check, even though there's a roiv, you still are meant to check. So you're meant to check your tzitzis every day based on that. However, he says that if you're not able to check your tzitzis because the minyan is starting and you don't want to miss the minyan, then you don't have to check. You can rely on the roiv. He uses this Gemara to explain that. Okay.